It is a Saturday night, New Year's Eve. Usually we do this on a Friday, but we had a little problem yesterday. I was waylaid by a car accident, so I wasn't able to make it to the studio. And that was that, basically. There's really nothing more to report. I'm fine. I'm doing great, and I'm here now. And I'm going to do this thing. You're darn right I am. Because winners never quit, and quitters never win. So let's get right on to tomorrow's games, because there's no games today. Today is bowl night. Some orange, crimson, purple bowl, whatever bowl is being played tonight. The Buffalo, Chick-fil-A, McDonald's bowl, or something like that. But there's no games today. So let's get right on to the 1 o'clock games. And we will. Okay, beginning with, let's see. Oh, it will be New Year's. Yeah, Happy New Year. Tomorrow when you watch these games, it will be a new year. And a lot of you are going to need a new year. Let's start off with two teams that really, really need a new year. And that is the 4-11 Arizona Cardinals. They will travel to Atlanta to take on the 5-12 Falcons. Now, neither of these two teams have a win in their last 4 weeks. In fact, if we combine these two teams' records over the last 8 weeks, it would be 2 wins and 14 games lost. That's right, 2 wins, 14 lost. We've heard of beyond meat, but this is beyond abysmal. Yes, it is bad. Is there any wonder the tickets for this game can be had for $29? That's right. So if anybody wants to go to this game, cough up $30 and you're in the stadium. As far as the winner, I'm not even going to try. Okay, flip a coin if it matters to anybody, and we'll leave it at that. Now, my Detroit, your Detroit, America's Detroit Lions are 7-8, and they are hosting their nemesis, those Chicago Bears, who have a record of 3-12. 3-12. That's right. Chicago has the second worst record in the NFL, and they have been eliminated from any playoff consideration since, well, if we want to be honest about this, we'd have to say since week 1. Why? Because Bears management seems to have no clue as to what they're doing, where they're going, and they don't really seem to care. Case in point, for the past 2 weeks, even though they have been mathematically eliminated, they have put their star quarterback, Justin Fields, out on the gridiron to get beat up on when there is no reason to. He is the only thing that makes this a viable team going forward. But that doesn't seem to matter to the Bears. Now, the Detroit Lions, on the other hand, have electrified the company, electrified the country, and of course the Ford Motor Company. And so last week, they were on the roll. Well, last week, what happened is that they met up with Carolina and they lost. When the moment was right there for them to take it, it proved to be a little bit too big. But we'll see if they can bounce back this week. Now, Detroit had won 6 of the last 7, and they were on the playoff road to Oz. Well, until last week. But we will see if they can get back on that road this week. I'm thinking Lions, man. Go Lions. Roar, Lions, roar. Now, the 4-11 Denver Broncos, minus ex-head coach Nathaniel Hackett, who was let go on Tuesday, will be in Kansas City to take on the 12-3 Kansas City Chiefs. Now, Hackett, as I mentioned, was let go. And I think this was done to misdirect from Broncos mismanagement, or Broncos management's awful decision to lavish Russell Wilson with an irrevocable contract to stink up the joint. It has been bad this year for the Denver Broncos. I mean, really bad. I mean, Russell Wilson has been so bad that even Vince Lombardi couldn't have won anything with Russell Wilson. But then nobody could have. But the scuttlebutt will be, from here on out, get ready for this, Bronco fans. It will be, is there a coach out there who can come in and revitalize Russell Wilson's career? You know, like he was a car or something. I mean, in a good way. Okay, like slap some tires on, some new brakes, some new shocks, windshield wipers, and everything would be all better. Wrong, wrong. Okay, if Russell Wilson was a car, then this car, without a doubt, would be heading for the junkyard because it's done. Okay, and just like this game, it's going to be done. Kansas City is going to take this game, and it shouldn't even be whatever. They should be able to take this game, and Mahomes shouldn't even come out for the second half. Easily, they should be able to take this. Now, the 7-8 New England Patriots are taking on the 8-7 Miami Dolphins. These two teams, well, let's just get them. For these two teams, there are playoff implications for both of them, of course. There's playoff implications. One's only one game in front of the other in the AFC East. So, and each one of these two teams need this. New England, well, if they can win this game, it would be a tie. They'll be in a tie for second place in the division. And I think, oh no, it might come down to the last game. But anyway, it would be a tie for second place with the Dolphins. Miami obviously needs this game in order to remain one game ahead of New England. Now, Miami has lost 4 of the last 5 games. 4 of the last 5 games. And, well, New England, yeah, they've lost 4 of their last 5 games also. In truth, neither of these two teams deserve a playoff spot. They have been absolutely horrid. So who am I going to go with? I'm going with New England. Yeah, we're going to get New England. Well, they're playing at home, and there's another reason why. Tua Tagovailoa, Tua Tags, is out, injured, with another concussion. So if Miami was playing bad already with Tua Tags, they're going to play worse because he's not there. I don't think their backup quarterback is as good as Tua Tags, and that should round it off for Miami. Miami's going downhill quickly, fast. So the Dolphins have a nice season. It could have been worse, but anyway, I don't know. Well, at least you're not the Indianapolis Colts. Yes, the 4-10-1 Indianapolis Colts are traveling to New Jersey to play the 8-6-1 New York Football Giants. Now the Colts have one win, just one win in the last 9 games. One win, everybody. There's been a lot of bad football this season. And their head coach, who was once previous to this job as the head coach, which I think happened in the 3rd or 4th week of the season, he was a football analysis for one of the networks. He was a football analyst for one of the networks. Just Saturday has turned from Matt Ryan, who was the starting quarterback, to Nick Foles. Nick Foles is the starting quarterback. But that happened last week, and he got the same results. So maybe it's not the quarterback, Jeff. Anyway, the Giants need this game in order to solidify their playoff hopes. And the Giants have been pretty dismal over the past 8 weeks, too. But that's how bad football's been in the NFL this year. We'll talk about that later. I'm going with the New York Giants. Yeah. But I wouldn't be surprised if they lost. Let's just go with that. The 13-2, the team with the best record in the NFL, Philadelphia Eagles, are hosting the 6-9 New Orleans Saints. Now, the Aints have been up and down all season. Yeah, last week they won. This week they're gonna lose. Yeah, and they are still theoretically in contention, but this week should end all that, everybody. That's right. The Eagles should put an end to all that this week. Jalen Hurts is back, but they shouldn't even play him. They don't even have to play Jalen Hurts in order to win this game. Just leave him on the bench and let him heal up, okay? That's how bad this. Let's just move on. Now, at the bottom of the basement, the 2-12-1 Houston Rockets. Yeah, they're the worst team. They're the worst record in the league. And they just won that one last week. So one of the two last week. So these guys, yeah, it's been far few between wins for the Houston Texans. But they are hosting the 7-8 Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, this is a must-win situation for the Jaguars. They are tied in first place. And well, they were tied, but the Tennessee Titans lost. Yes, they lost to the Dallas Cowboys on Thursday night. So the Jags have a chance to take sole possession of first place in that division. And the Jags have not been to the playoffs in 5 years. So of course, emotions are running high. People are excited. They're all fully behind the Jags. It's the Jags' opportunity to seal the deal. So, what do I think? I think the Texans. Okay, I'm thinking Texans. The combination of them resurging and the pressure will probably prove too much for the Jags to overcome. So, for the first time this season, I'm going with the Texans to win a game. It's probably the last time for a while. Okay. Now the 7-7, the 7-7-1 Washington Commanders will host the 6-9 Cleveland Browns. Now, the only wrinkle to this game is that Carson Wentz is starting for the Commanders once again because he was benched in favor of Taylor Heineke. Yeah, Ron Rivera benched Carson Wentz for Taylor Heineke. Now he's benching Taylor Heineke in favor of Carson Wentz. Okay, it's like a soap opera, right? Okay, but both these teams are out of playoff contention, essentially. I mean, theoretically, mathematically, there's still a sliver of a chance somehow, some way for the Commanders, okay? But it's so small that it's not even a speck in the universe. And the planet's not a speck in the universe, so you can imagine what a speck is like. It doesn't really matter in the scheme of anything, whatever. So let's just say this. This game does not really matter in the scheme of what's going to happen in the NFL this season. Okay? So this game really shouldn't matter to anybody who has a shred of life in them. Okay? Don't waste your time watching this game. Okay? Because there's got to be more to your life. I am hoping and praying that there's more to your life than watching this game. Okay? And I'm not even going to pick this game. I'm just going to leave it alone. Now, in the marquee matchup of the 1 o'clock games, the marquee matchup is drum roll please. Pop. The 6-9 Carolina Panthers are traveling to Tampa Bay. They take on Tom Brady and the 7-8 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think you guys heard me correctly. Ladies and gentlemen, both of these two teams are under 500. And yes, these two teams are playing for first place in the NFC South. Now, ladies and gentlemen, sports fans everywhere, it hurts to say that the NFL is putting out a product such as what we're dealing with here. Both teams are under 500, yet this game is for first place. But there is a silver liner in all this, and that is Steve Wilks. Steve Wilks, the head coach for the Panthers. The Panthers under Steve Wilks are surging. They're surging toward the finish line. The Bucs under Todd Bowles are crawling to the end. Wilks inherited this team after they fired the head coach, Matt Rule, 2 or 3 games into the season. He inherited Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield went out injured. He took a backup quarterback, and they won games with the backup quarterback. Now, that backup quarterback went out injured. Now Sam Darnold, another castaway like Baker Mayfield, is his quarterback. That's right. And Steve Wilks has motivated a team that was purposely gutted by management to lose to persevere, rise up, and win. That is the story of this season, if you ask me. The Carolina Panthers team. Todd Bowles, on the other hand, Todd Bowles. Yes, Todd Bowles, who lost terribly in New York, was somehow picked to become the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers based upon I don't know what. Steve Wilkes with Sam Darnold has taken his team to the cusp of the playoffs. Todd Bowles with the team, with Tom Brady as his quarterback, with a team just 2 years out from being in and winning the Super Bowl, a team that is just 2 years out from being in and winning the Super Bowl, has demotivated them to the point where they just look like they want to lay down, crawl over, and put their legs up like a roach. Okay? Let me just put it this way. My crystal ball says the Panthers. Sorry, Buccaneers fans. Sorry to give good people bad news. But anyway, let's start off with the 4 o'clock games, shall we, everybody? Yes. Okay. The 4 o'clock games begin with the 6-9 Las Vegas Raiders traveling to San Francisco to play the 49ers. Now, the Raiders have crapped out. Pow! Yes, they've crapped out, everybody. It's over. Take them away from the table. They know it. They already know it. They rolled snake eyes for the last time. They've thrown up the white flag and have already started looking to it next season. At least they're smart about it. They're not like the Bears. Okay? Derek Carr has been benched. Now, Derek Carr's been benched because he's been awful. Okay? I don't know if they really care about saving him for next year. But what they have done is that they have placed a number of defensive guys that they have on injured reserve to protect them so that they don't get hurt anymore. So that's what they've done. Now, the 49ers, they want this game. Definitely want this game more than the Raiders do. They need this game in the attempt to get home field for the playoffs. Now, they can bulletproof themselves from every team or any team not named Philadelphia or Minnesota from here on out. Also, if they win this game, they may have the opportunity to rest Brock Purdy next week and ensure that he's healthy because he's been playing with some tender ribs. Okay? So if they can win this game, they might rest Purdy, make sure he's healthy for the playoffs. I think they want this game more. Yes. I believe they want this game more than, of course, who doesn't want this game more than the Raiders? So we're going 49ers in this one. Now, the 7-8 New York Jets. What can be said about these guys? They've been in a tailspin. They're about to buy the field or buy the farm, as they used to say when the plane was shot down. The Jets have definitely been shot down. They are done. They're billowing smoke as they circle toward the ground. They are traveling to the state of Washington to take on the Seattle Seahawks. Wow. We could probably call this the shoulda, coulda, woulda bowl. These two teams were flying high. The Seahawks and the Jets. Woo! About week 7 of this season. Week 7, week 8, they were flying high. I think even Seattle was in first place, and the Jets were hovering around there somewhere. But has a lot changed since then. Now, what is for sure is that there is no playoff contention for either of these teams. Okay? But Seattle, despite their mediocre season, has continued to show up and compete. Something the Jets have not done. Okay? So I'm going Seahawks, ladies and gentlemen. Seahawks. I'm thinking Seattle. The 7-8. 7-8 Green Bay Packers with Aaron Rodgers showing some signs of life after just, what was he doing? Just circling around the toilet bowl for most of the season. He's showing some signs of life. They're hosting the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota has a 12-3 record. Looking darn good. But the Packers need this game. They need this game to stay in playoff contention. They're at home. And Minnesota really doesn't need this game, but they want this game, but they really don't need it. But they might really want it so that they never have to face the Packers again this season. If they can croak them now, that would end the Packers' playoff contention for the most part. But if they don't croak the Packers now, it could come back to haunt them. But we'll find out which team wants it more. And I'm thinking Packers, ladies and gentlemen. Packers. Now, the 5-10. Los Angeles Rams. I would say they're traveling, but they're not traveling. The Chargers are supposed to be hosting this game, the Los Angeles Chargers, who are 96, but they play in the same stadium. So there's no home field advantage for either of these two teams since they both play there. But there's the excitement of LA playing against LA. What do I think? Well, you see, the Chargers made it into the playoffs last week by beating the Indianapolis Colts. But who doesn't? So a win over the hapless, woebegone Indianapolis Colts does not convince me of the Chargers' mettle. Mettle means the willpower. So I'm going with Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield and the Los Angeles Rams. It's going to be exciting no matter how you look at it. Somebody's got to win this game. And then the last game of Sunday. And I'm sure you guys just can't wait till this is over, okay? Okay, I've been talking 20 minutes about this, but we're going to knock this out. Bada boom. The 7-8 Pittsburgh Steelers with the late Franco Harris, who just passed away last week. In this memory, yeah, great running back. Those are the days, the glory days of the Steelers. Well, those days aren't here anymore for the Steelers. And they will be traveling to Baltimore to take on the 10-5 Ravens. Now, Lamar Jackson has been out for the last 4 to 5 weeks. I think it's going on the 5th game. Yeah. But in those 4 games that he's been out, Baltimore's actually won. They've eked out wins. How they've done this, I don't know. I've looked at their quarterback, Tyler Huntley, and I don't know how they're winning because he does nothing. I haven't seen him do anything well. No offense to Tyler Huntley, and I'm sure he'll say the same thing. He has not shown. He runs the ball sometime. That's about as good. But I haven't seen anything, and even the running is not electrifying, but they managed to win. Tyler, and that's all that counts. Okay? They may defy my reasoning, but that's all that counts. Okay? It doesn't matter. That's all that counts. The Ravens are there to be had, but I don't think Pittsburgh is the team to do it. So we are going Ravens in this one. Yes, Baltimore, quote the Ravens nevermore. Okay. And then the Monday night game. The Monday night game is really the marquee game of the weekend. It's going to feature the 11-4 Cincinnati Bengals playing host to the 12-3 Buffalo Bills. Now, this is a rematch. Yeah, this is a rematch of last year's AFC Championship game. And these two teams are both high-powered teams. Both these teams are already in the playoffs. But Cincinnati needs this game in order to stay ahead of the Baltimore Ravens, who are still breathing down their necks, just one game back for the top spot in the AFC Central. Buffalo needs this game to make sure that they don't ever have to travel to Cincinnati again this season, no matter what. And also, this is an opportunity to avenge the loss that they had to the Bengals in last season's AFC Championship game and rest their starters for next week. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going Bills. Go Buffalo. Let's see what happens. Now, I'm making this short and sweet because I have to. I'm out of time. But I must admit, it might have been short and sweet, but it has been exciting because I bring you the NFL with no frills, no sacred cows, no punches pulled. Be honest, and I see it from your perspective as the fan. Like I said, I'm a fan first, so I see it from your perspective. I'm not trying to sugarcoat this thing for any teams, any coaches, any players. I see it from your point of view, so I'm giving it to you from your point of view. And with that, I want to say enjoy your Saturday night, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy your Saturday night and enjoy tomorrow's games on the 1st of the year, 2023. Let me be the first one to say Happy New Year, but I'm probably not the first, but I won't be the last. Thank you very much for coming. Remember, subscribe, like, and leave comments. We want that. Like, subscribe, subscribe, leave comments. Okay? If you have a different opinion, anybody want to say something they think that I should have said or shouldn't have said, let me know. And I'll put it up there and I might even bring you on. Have a good night, everybody, and have a better tomorrow.